All right, guys, it's time to dig deep in those memories. I want you to go back and see if you can remember learning how to write in school. Do you? Because I don't. A huge portion of our memories related to writing probably revolve around whether you like to write or not. Today, we have so many students who do not enjoy writing. Therefore, those writing lessons sometimes feel like pulling teeth. Today, I'm talking about why we no longer use writing journals and what we suggest doing instead. That's right, we're talking about the infamous writing journal. When I say writing journal, I am referring to giving students just open-ended free writing experiences. Now, trust me, free writing has its place, but we have found that using free writing in place of instruction is just that. It's free writing, it's not instruction. There's so many better ways you could be supporting your writers in your classroom, and we're here to tell you all the things you can do to help make that writing time a little less painful. First things first, why get rid of the writing journals? Students love to write independently. They want to pick their own stories to write about, and you're right, they do. Writing journals work really well for motivated students and students who enjoy writing. And while those students love the writing journal, think about the students who don't. Your reluctant writers, your students who feel like they never have anything to write about, and your students who continue to make writing errors. When your writing instruction revolves around the use of an open-ended writing journal, students are continuing to practice incorrect writing methods. Think about the last time you opened up a writing journal and you saw a full page of writing with not a single punctuation mark. That student felt great about their writing, but they obviously didn't use the writing method to make sure they went back and edited and revised their writing. By giving students those open-ended writing journals, they are not having the structure that they need to grow as writers. They might be enjoying it, but we want to make sure that our students are learning the skills they need to be successful writers. Another reason why we're tossing out the writing journal is because they're hard to grade and really challenging to assess. When you're taking those journals home or spending time after school reading through writing pieces that are open-ended, you could be reading through a huge variety of writing pieces. And it's hard to nail down what students are struggling with and what grade to give them based on what they're struggling. Writing journals are sometimes too open-ended to use as a writing assessment tool. Even when giving your students a writing prompt to use in their writing journal, that's not necessarily the best way to support your writers' growth as writers. We want our students to become creative writers, and the first step in that is developing strong ideas to write about. When students are given a prompt, it's normally very narrow, and it doesn't give them a lot of opportunities to be creative or do their own brainstorming. That step in the writing process is so important, helping them develop as writers, that using prompts completely skips that step. Okay, we get it. They're hard to grade, they're not teaching skills, they're even tougher to assess. We're throwing out the writing journal. But the question is, what should we do instead? Enter Writer's Workshop. Writer's Workshop is the way that we love to structure our writing instruction, and I promise it's going to change how writing works in your classroom. The first thing we want you to focus on in Writer's Workshop is taking content and focusing on it one little tiny piece at a time. Students are expected to write in different modes of writing, and it's important to identify each mode they're expected to produce, and then the skills they need to successfully produce that mode of writing. Does it sound overwhelming? Don't worry. I have a free guide with lesson suggestions for each mode of writing, linked in the cards and down in the description box. After we've identified the skills students need to be successful personal narrative writers or opinion writers, now's the time to take those skills and break them up into mini lessons. And when we say mini lessons, we mean it. Mini lessons. Believe it or not, the majority of your writing workshop is going to be given to students actually spending time writing a novel idea. The only way students are going to become better writers is if they're given the opportunity to write and apply the skills you've taught them in those lessons. So narrow down those skills and start planning those mini lessons. How are you going to teach dialogue to your writers? How are you going to teach using a creative lead to start your personal narrative? Address those in those mini lessons so your writers can really get straightforward instruction on those skills. After that mini lesson, now is time for a bite-sized assignment. So often, writing can seem really overwhelming for students, which is why that open-ended writer's journal seems like a daunting task for our most challenged writers. However, when we give students that bite-sized assignment, it's an easy step for them to follow that's very intentional because it's always going to match what you just covered in your mini lesson. If you talked about leads in your mini lesson, guess what students are going to be adding to their writing piece today? A lead. Maybe we've been focusing on punctuating dialogue. In their writing time, it's their time to go and add 2 examples of dialogue into their personal narrative. That bite-sized lesson is a powerful tool because it gets students practicing those skills immediately after they're instructed on them. The more instruction and practice they receive on the skills, the more likely they are to start applying them to their own independent writing. While students are applying what they've learned in the mini lesson with that bite-sized assignment, it's a great time for you to pull a writing small group. We love writing small groups because it gives a chance to meet with students based on specific skills they need support in. Not everybody needs practice capitalizing proper nouns in their writing piece, but I know you can think of 5 students in your room right now who definitely do need that practice. Plan ahead and think about students you can pull to support while everyone else is working on that bite-sized assignment. This means you'll have great structured time with each of your writers. You can also use this time to confer with students one-on-one. Ask them to show you what they've been writing, show you something they're proud of or an area they need help in. You can also go and ask them for something specific. Show me where you added your lead. Show me where you've included great details to describe your main character. Those conferences are a great way to check in and a lot easier than reading through endless writing journals. I know I mentioned early on that the use of a writing journal can still have a role in your classroom. We just don't want it taking the place of the instruction in your classroom. Some ways you could incorporate writing journal is a diary where students are able to write things specifically to you in a specific time of their day. I've used a diary station as one of my reading rotations where once a week that's where they get to write, and it's a fun opportunity to read what my students have going on in their lives, and I can write back and forth with them. You can also do this with a journal that goes home. We call these Friday journals, where students will write in their journal to tell their family about what they've learned that week, and then it goes home with them so they have great things to talk about over the weekend. Consider using writing journals as an early finisher activity or giving students chances to write in a writing journal about their other content work they've been doing. Tell me what you've learned in science this week, or write to tell me about something we learned recently in social studies. Cross-curricular and great opportunities to practice writing. Now that you've taught those great mini lessons, you're going to be applying those skills in that writing journal. I know it sounds like a lot, but writing is one of our favorite things to talk about here, and we like it so much we made an entire professional development course about it. The Not So Wimpy Teacher Writing Masterclass is the place to go if you're looking to launch Writer's Workshop in your classroom and you want all of the support from our team here at Not So Wimpy Teacher. The Masterclass is an amazing self-paced digital professional development course. I'm going to have it linked for you up in the cards and down in the description box. The Masterclass is an amazing way to help you plan and implement a writer's workshop in your classroom. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I want to hear from you down in the comments. What is a powerful tool you use in your classroom to help your writers grow? As always, I'm so glad you guys were here, and I hope you have a not so wimpy day. Bye!